And the 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. Cubs win. The Cubs beat the Giants. Celebration time on the mound at AT&T Park.
An improbable and historic comeback that's going to go down as one of the greatest wins in Cubs history. They get 4 in the 9th off the Giants bullpen. Second straight year. Cubs are going to the NLCS. Now they're 4 wins away from their first pennant in 71 years. Meanwhile, the Blackhawks ended last season with a Game 7 loss against the Blues. Now they don't have to wait very long for payback. The Blues at the United Center to drop the puck on a new NHL season tonight. Eddie Olczyk will preview the curtain raiser tonight on Sports Talk Live.
Zobrist lines one down the right field line. That's a fair ball. It bounces all the way into the corner. Bryant scores. Rizzo to third on a double by Zobrist. And it's a 5-3 ball game. And Contreras hits a ground ball up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. One run is in. Here comes Zobrist. He ties the game. A 2-run single by Wilson Contreras. The ball game is tied at 5. Baez hits a ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Hayward around third. He will score. Cubs lead 6-5. Javier Baez with a broken bat single up the middle. And the Cubs dugout jumping up and down in absolute delight.
Welcome to Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. Let's meet the panel for tonight's show. Fresh off the plane from San Francisco, the Scores Cubs pre- and post-game host Mark Grody and another baseball scribe who just touched down. There he is, Mr. Phil Rogers. Guys, thanks for stopping. You look a little tired, but not totally exhausted. How was the trip?
The makeup is really starting to kick in for me.
Yeah, we went with the heavy mat on everybody today.
Yeah, the trip back was exactly what one would suspect after winning a game like that.
And you're on the team playing. I don't want you to give away too many secrets, but it was a good time.
Well, actually, the thing is, I'd say for the first 2 hours it was pretty jubilant. Then there was sort of a decrescendo on the airplane of it was time to take a nap. Plus, there was families on the plane too, so it was the little kids that bailed us all out. It was like everybody has to kind of keep it down so everybody can get a little nap in. So that was
sure, we almost believe you, but okay.
You know, by then you're over Nebraska or something. You know, I mean, what does it even matter at that point?
I just watched a few episodes of Law and Order and it was great. So you know, that's the way my flight went.
Good times. What a comeback. Our postseason coverage brought to you by Lexus, by the way, and what were you thinking down those runs going into the 9th inning? This team has come back, but I don't know if we thought that comeback was still there.
No, I was thinking how smart the Giants were at midseason to go out and get Matt Moore.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, they could have gotten a reliever or they could have gotten a starter, and I thought they made the right choice. But all of a sudden, you saw why they almost went and got a reliever. If you look back on it, Chris Bryant singles through the shift, you know, and the shift takes a lot of hits away. That was a well-hit ball, certainly more so than the Wilson Contreras 4-hopper up the middle. But when I thought that single through the shift to, place it right there. Bruce Bochy said it went right to where our shortstop would have been if they hadn't shifted. And then it got rolling, and it was just like one of those rallies when it goes against your team, you feel like nothing's ever going to go right again. I counted 6 different Cubs that contributed.
Well, right, and how about Joe Madden, too, with the little cat and mouse game he had going on with Bruce Bochy?
Yeah. 5
pitchers in that 9th inning. He pulls Addison Russell back to have Chris Coughlin go bat, and then Bruce Bochy says, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna go ahead and bring in.
Good impression.
Yeah, right. They got these tires to sell. We're gonna bring in Will Smith, the lefty. And then he pulls him back and eventually gets to the guy I think he wanted all along. It was Wilson Contreras who hits the game-tying 2-run single. So that was fun to watch as well. And I had a completely different post-game scripted.
Everybody was.
Heading into the 9th inning.
Yeah. I had to go grab the big blue fist for Kaplan to make sure we could do the post-game show out here. They were still back in the newsroom. I'll give Todd Hollandsworth some credit. We're sitting in here getting ready to do the post-game show, and in the pregame, he had said all along, the Cubs are struggling to hit. They've got to take the ball in this field back up the middle. You got to take it back to the middle of this field. All the key hits, except for Zobrist in that 9th inning, right back up the middle.
Yeah, and I thought winning that game was huge, and Joe Madden, to his credit, I think Joe's really honest. Even in the tougher moments, or he was asked, "What were you thinking about when the 9th inning started?" And he's like Johnny Cueto in Wrigley Field, and
who wasn't? What Cubs fan wasn't? Even Theo said the same thing. It's kind of interesting. We say don't panic. Everybody says don't panic, but I think anybody that's a Cubs fan was thinking, Cueto and Bumgarner both be available in Game 5. I don't know about that.
Yeah, Fox had that great shot of Theo in the stands in the 8th inning, and he said he took it to another level. He's thinking about Cueto, Madison, Bumgarner, and the umpire strike zone, which it was going to be a big strike zone.
It was relief partying last night more than there was exuberance, obviously, but I think that 80% of it was, thank God this thing is done.
All right, let's check out the stat of the day driven by your Chevy Silverado. Only 4 times in Major League postseason history has a pitcher gone at least 8 innings, giving up 3 or fewer hits, had at least 10 strikeouts, and his team lost the game. 2 of them happened in this series. Cueto, Game 1, Matt Moore last night. The other 2, Nolan Ryan in 1986, the NLCS, and Mike Mussina in 1997, the ALCS. How about Javier Baez? I mean, clearly the MVP of this series for the Cubs. Offensively and defensively spectacular.
Yeah, and I mean, the moment of the series was the ball falling into the basket in Game 1.
Sure.
If you're playing the Cubs, you got to win that game. The Cubs are going to be better than anybody else they play. The Giants knew they were a better team than them. And when you get them in a game like that, you can win, you got to win it. So when Javier Baez got it just over the edge of the basket and in there, that I think really sent the series going. But defensively, I had some scouts on my flight today, and they were saying, I've never seen a better defensive second baseman ever in my life than this guy. He made that play. He made going to his right to get that's a play most guys don't get to. They certainly don't get off throws, and then if they do get off a throw, the throw's not going to be right there bang bang with a fast runner like Denard Span. I'm not sure I've ever seen from an infielder a better play than that.
How about the quick tags?
Oh, yeah.
That tag was unbelievable.
Night, I mean, the throwing out Denard Span trying to steal last night. David Ross bounced it in there. He scoops it up and puts the swipe tag. Here's the other part about Javier Baez, too. The problem that Javier Baez had, he was always good at the spectacular. For a while, it was the routine play that he struggled with, and that you often find that to be the case with guys who make the spectacular. They forget about the routine. If you've watched Javier Baez in this series, you could tell he's really focused on that simple two-hopper that comes to him. I mean, all of the basics are down. All the rudimentary skills are in play. The 2 hands on the ball. You could tell he's focused on that. And to the offensive side of things, Phil, you're right about that was a series change of the home run against Cueto in the basket. The go-ahead hit last night, too, it would have been great for the Cubs to have just tying the game alone. But you did not want to go into extra innings against the San Francisco Giants. You did not want to go into that bottom of the 9th inning with the game tied 5-5 and then play another 13 or 14 innings and then eventually lose the game. So him getting the go-ahead hit last night was huge, too, and not forcing extra innings.
And that bottom of the 9th was tough, too, because you had anybody gets on, Buster Posey's going to come up. So you did not want to.
Or God forbid, Conor Gillaspie.
Oh. Hey, one quick thing on that tag. What I loved about it was, in Javi's mind, there was no question he was catching it and tagging him because he was already fist pumping with David Ross. The only part he cared about was whether David Ross would get the ball where he could possibly get it.
Yeah.
And the fact that he had it, he was celebrating with Ross. Well, even before the umpire made the call.
Well, what was cool, too, is they both were crediting each other. They were both giving each other the credit point. Baez is like, you, man. and Ross is like, no, you, man. So it was
I love you, man. 60% of the fans voting on this say they're going to remember Baez's defense in this series even more than his offense. And as you mentioned, the home run was maybe the biggest play of the whole series. So he a well-rounded player, and here's a kid who maybe a year ago was striking out in those situations, wasn't the same swing at the plate. Defensively, he had a couple, didn't he have some throwing errors last year where he had some mistakes and it was kind of, people were wondering, the stage is too big for him. Now he's shown that he is an elite, absolutely elite infielder.
Yeah, I mean, and the play going so far to his right on Span's ball, to get it and not have a panic throw that goes in the dugout, in the stands, and I do think, to Mark's point, You know, he had to play this year where Joe Madden, I didn't even think of this at the time, but his first and second, grounder to short, is going to start a double play, but instead he throws to third and totally handcuffed Chris Bryant.
Right.
And, you know, Joe Madden said that's because he was trying for a triple play, couldn't take the double play.
Right.
And, you know, he would force the action. I think the Cubs have done a nice job of coaching him, whether it's, you know, coaches and teammates, to let's just take, you know, let's take the safe out. Let's, you know, save it for when you really need it.
3 one-run games, and you could easily say that the bullpens were the biggest difference in this series as well. Cubs bullpen had some really good games, did a great job. The Giants, when they needed them to hang on to this win and force a Game 5, couldn't do it.
Well, and obviously the Cubs didn't win the Game 3, but the job Mike Montgomery did.
Terrific.
I mean, it was excellent. It's the best he's obviously pitched in a Cubs uniform. You know, of course, gives up the game-winning hit, but whatever. He was excellent, and everything that happened that went wrong with Aroldis Chapman late in the game and Hector Rondon, for that matter, it was like it all came back to being good with Aroldis Chapman getting his fresh 9th inning, striking out the side. And then, yeah, I mean, the problem that San Francisco had last night was not unique to that team. I mean, they have struggled. They've blown saves left and right this year. So it's a nervous feeling if you're a Giants fan going into that 9th inning, I think.
Could you sense the nerves in the body language from Cubs players? Todd Hollandsworth said that last night, that he thought body language-wise, you could see that maybe it just wasn't right for a while there in the middle of the game. They weren't getting the best at bats throughout the game, but something switched and the light switch went and the body language changed. I think as soon as Chris Bryant got that hit in the 9th inning and Rizzo was able to lay off the curveball, things changed really quickly.
Well, I was watching Rizzo really closely the whole game, and it was way by far his best game of that series. And it just felt to me he was at 0-2, 1-2 every at bat. I went and looked. That wasn't true, but he had only had in the first 3 games, he only got to a 2-ball count twice. So I thought he was better, but yeah, I thought, you know, give Matt more credit. He pitched really well.
Spectacular game. We're going to get back to the Cubs later in the show. And as their postseason continues, the Blackhawks regular season is about to get started in less than 2 hours. Blackhawks and Blues on NBCSN. We bring in Eddie Olczyk live from the United Center. They're going to play this one. He's the best in the business. Eddie, thanks for taking some time for us tonight. We appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, Luke. Go Cubs, and what a series against the Giants. Boy, oh boy, that was some great entertainment and great theater, and good luck to them in the championship series there in the National League. It's been great theater all year long, so good luck to the Cubs.
Yeah, it was spectacular. Young forwards for the Blackhawks trying to make an impact. Last year it was Panarin bursting onto the scene. Can one of these young guys have that same type of impact or season this year?
Well, I mean, I think that's that's a lot to ask, Luke, to be a top 10 scorer in the National Hockey League and win Rookie of the Year. Artemi Panarin came in and developed an incredible chemistry with Patrick Kane, and we know the type of year that Kaner had, being the MVP and the best player in the National Hockey League last year. But I think, look, you're going to have a very young core group of forwards that are going to come in and going to be looking for guidance from those older players up front. But, you know, a guy like Tyler Mott has probably stood out more than anybody because he scored, he's been reliable defensively, and Joel Quenneville's given him opportunity to kill some penalties. So I would look to a guy like Tyler Mott to get the opportunity, at least right off the bat, to play in a lot of different situations. But, you know, Hinostroza was good at times, Schmaltz at times. Ryan Hartman, I think, has gotten stronger, but this is an opportunity. You got a chance to play for your hometown team. And look, Hinostroza and Hartman are Chicago guys. Schmaltz is a guy that's from Madison, Wisconsin. He played a lot of his minor hockey here in Chicago. We know Scott Darling. So you're going to have legitimately 4 guys that played the majority of their youth hockey here in the city of Chicago and the suburbs are playing for the Blackhawks. But take advantage of this opportunity, because if you don't, there's going to be somebody else who's going to take that opportunity away from you.
We'll see all those young forwards tonight against the Blues. The Hawks picking up where they left off. Ken Hitchcock this morning saying, hey, it's a rivalry now because the Blues finally won a playoff series. But Eddie, was a long offseason. Will that make a difference for this Hawks team having a long summer to kind of regroup their bodies?
I think that's the mindset, Luke. His team's played a lot of hockey, going into that series against the Blues and then losing in 7 games. You put the Olympics in there as well. I know, a handful of the guys played in the World Cup of Hockey, but I think, rest can do wonders in any sport. So for me, I think the rest will do the Blackhawks a lot of good. Now, where does it pay dividends? You look at the Central Division. You look at teams throughout and changes and where the strengths and weaknesses are. Just give yourself a chance, and it's only game one, but just get into the playoffs. And we've seen in the past, so you can see teams make long runs regardless where they finished in the regular season. But you get an arch rival game tonight against the Blues here at the United Center.
Going to be awesome. Edzo, thanks again. Have a great broadcast, and we'll see you throughout the season.
All right, Luke, go Cubs.
Thank you. We'll see you in a bit. All right, the NLCS starts in 3 days, and once again, the Cubs have to wait to find out who they're going to face in a postseason series. So, who's the better matchup for the Northsiders? Is it the Dodgers or the Nationals? We'll talk about that. And meanwhile, no Cutler at practice, so it looks like Hoyer's going to be under center on Sunday. Can the Bears pick up their second win of the season when Jacksonville comes calling? Or will the beloved have to wait for another month for a victory Monday?
Sports Talk Live is presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers who know what it takes to be number one. It's all about drive.
How's it going? Hi. Today we're going to be comparing the roll-formed high-strength steel bed of the Chevy Silverado to the aluminum bed of this competitor's truck. Awesome. All right, let him drop. Let's see how the aluminum bed of this truck held up.
Wow, that's a good-sized puncture.
That's all the way through, for sure.
Full-on crack here.
You're aluminum now, you're gonna go, ooh.
Let's check out the Silverado's steel bed.
Wow. Yeah, a couple dents.
I'd expect more dents.
Chevy clearly held up better than the Ford.
With Custom Ink, you can design custom t-shirts and other great products for every occasion. From the first day of school to game day and everything in between. With the best collection of styles and graphics to choose from, it's easy to go online and create custom t-shirts and more for all of life's events. Get free shipping and on-time delivery, guaranteed. Go to customink.com to get started today.
My name is Jim Cornelison, and I am the national anthem singer for professional hockey in Chicago. I am in front of millions of people every time I get out on that ice. And the more I've been on camera in the last few years, I noticed, the bald patch coming in. Ultimately, I had to face the truth. I just had less hair up there.
Get your own head of thick, full hair with Restore.
The procedure is quick, it's comfortable, it's pain-free. There's no cutting, there's no stitching, and there's no linear scar. It's my own hair. It's just moved from the back to the front. I was in the morning. I was out in the afternoon.
Comb it, cut it, style it. It's your hair. You're just one call away from looking and feeling more confident.
When I walk out on the ice and I know I'm going to be on that Jumbotron, I feel good about how I look.
Call Restore today for your free consultation and get a $500 gift card. It may be the first step that changes your life forever.
Call 1-800-873-7171 or visit restorehair.com.
For 13 seasons, I played for the Bears. But this year, I'm ready to shake up the game in a whole new way with my own show. Watch The Hard Count, presented by Restore, Thursdays at 10:30 on CSN Chicago.
Number 54 stars on CSN. All Bears, all the time. Tomorrow night on CSN, the Men in Red are back in Bridgeview for an Eastern Conference clash with Columbus. Cheer them on from your couch as they try to crush the Crew. Fire versus Crew. Live at 7 p.m. on CSN.
Hello and welcome to Cubs Postseason Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield, alongside Todd Hollinsworth. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. You ready?
Let's do it. Boom.
Boom. Blow it up. Get it out of the way. One more? You want another one?
Oh, well, here we go.
Wait. Okay, now we can blow it up. That's the first time we've ever done twice in one game.
Well, we can do it we're only going to do about another hour or so.
Maybe 2 or 3 more times.
One more time?
Yeah. The triple hit. Right there it is. That's right. Cubs rallied, won the NLDS, and I was the host. So here's your Sports Talk Live poll. Who should host Cubs Postseason Live going forward, me or Wally Pipp? Go ahead and vote as you will. Hopefully some of my friends have computers. I know Caps do. It's been a good time. Caps at home, dying to get back on set. It's a Jewish holiday. He's dying to get back here and talk about his Cubs. I know that for sure. Nobody was more excited, I bet, than that.
Oh yeah, the cap was at home. I think he was probably celebrating how he was observing.
So who's the better? Imagine they could have won it without the cap too.
I know they did it just because he was off. I think they were thinking about laying down and going for Game 5, but then They thought, let's do this. So who's the better matchup? Dodgers, Nationals? Who? If you're a Cubs fan, who's the better matchup?
Analytically, I think the Cubs are best against a team that throws a bunch of left-handers, and that's the Dodgers. So, you know, and the Dodgers struggle against left-handers. The Cubs have plenty of those with John Lester, with the 3 guys in the bullpen. I don't know if they would think about putting Strizny on there to get another left-hander, but you know, I think the Dodgers are the best. But here's a mystery thing about the Dodgers. Somehow, the Cubs played them 7 times this year and never faced Kershaw, Maeda, or Rich Hill, the 3 guys they would probably play in the playoffs. I don't know what that would mean, but it makes it a little bit tougher to look at the breakdown.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just based on the fact that the Dodgers are a less talented roster overall than Washington. Washington's a bit banged up right now, injury-wise. I was thinking, too, about that hilarious series the Cubs had with the Nationals at Wrigley Field, or the 4 games.
The Bryce Harper special.
The Bryce Harper, where they walked him 97 times and just tortured Ryan Zimmerman. I mean, I don't think you're going to get that again. I think that if they played Washington, it would be more like the series in Washington, actually, where they were, I think there was 2 one-run games and 1 3-run game. But I do think that I always look at bullpens, too, at this point in the year. Obviously, that's crucial, and they're both pretty good bullpens with the Nationals and the Dodgers, but overall, I think a better matchup is the Dodgers. I'd prefer Washington, D.C., and that's based completely
because it's closer.
Because it's closer, and it's a shorter flight and all that kind of stuff, but the better matchup is the Dodgers.
Significant break for the Cubs, too, that that series gets forced to 5 games
Sure,
yesterday.
don't have to see the ace. Don't have to see the ace in Game 1.
That was a daily double for the Cubs yesterday, and if it was going to be Scherzer versus Lester in Game 1, the Nationals are a little bit better to me, and Scherzer is such a horse.
Yeah,
he's the kind of guy you could pitch 1, 4, and 7 if he could go in 1. So I think that was pretty significant. Although Tanner Roark, University of Illinois' favorite, is also a very strong starter for the Nationals.
Well, and the Cubs have a little time to rest. Kyle Hendricks is going to be good to go, and we'll be ready for this Game 1 coming up on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Bears, by the way, they still don't have Jay Cutler, not practicing, so it looks like Hoyer's going to be their quarterback this weekend against Jacksonville. Where are the Bears at? Is this going to be win number 2 on the season? Jacksonville was that team that I think was the favorite pick of a lot of people to say, oh, this is the team that's going to make the big flip this season. This is the year for Jacksonville. People were drafting all their players on their fantasy drafts. They thought Jacksonville would have a good season. They've been really rotten. Well, so maybe this is a chance, even without Cutler, to get this done.
I think that, if you're if you map out the schedule and you do the rough draft, this was one of those. This is going to sound ridiculous what I'm about to say, because the Bears are not going to have a winning season. This is a must-win in their non-winning season, because if they're not going to win this game against that team, then they have problems. The problems to me is this, for lack of a better terminology with the Bears are kind of boring right now. Not just that they've struggled and that they're bad, but we're talking about Brian Hoyer here in terms of the quarterback. There's nothing to latch onto and watch develop with the injuries that the Bears have had. That's what with the Kevin White injury, with Eddie Goldman, we could have seen some interesting things at least develop, even if they lost, but there's nothing entertaining right now.
Hoyer passed for like 6,000 yards Sunday, and
he's been good the last 2 games.
Rookie from Indiana ran for 500 yards, and they still lost.
Well, and he's fine, but Brian Hoyer just does not. Brian Hoyer's not going to be around in 3 years as your starting quarterback.
He's not the long-term future.
Right.
All right, up next, we'll find out who people want to host Cubs post-game live for the rest of the season. Probably the Cat Man. Hopefully he's not. You know what he's doing? He's got those blue fists at home, and he's just hitting his keyboard like 1,000 times.
I could have done that better.
Yeah, he's all hopped up on the Red Bull. We're coming more back with Sports Talk Live.
It's Elk Money Ford's Blowout Extravaganza event. Right now, you can buy a Ford Focus for $100 down and only $169 a month. That's right, only $100 down and $169 a month. Or get 0% financing for 72 months. Plus, get up to $2,750 cash back. Get the car you want with over 1,000 cars to choose from and the lowest prices of the year. You can't beat that. The Blowout Extravaganza event, only at the original Elk Money Ford Melrose Park, 25th and North Avenue.
Do you have too many bills but not enough money? Would you like one lower payment for all debt, little or no money down? I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Our Chapter 13 plans stop collections and creditors in one day for as low as $95 every 2 weeks. Get rid of bill collectors and high car payments. Get one lower payment today. Call or click now.
When you need to be debt-free, call 1-800-CALL-PFG. That's 1-800-CALL-PFG.
The first day that I went to school, they said, you can dress as you like.
That's not like a Little League picture or anything.
No, that's the first day I went to school. I went there, hey, I'm a ball player. My dad would always tell me, you can fool people, don't fool yourself. Don't ever fool yourself. My dad and my mom would always preach, dream the big dream. They would always tell me, you got to dream it, because sometimes it comes true. I've never forgotten that.
What time is it?
I think I know what it's time for.
If your family is complete, the safest and most effective form of birth control is a vasectomy. Call today for a same-day consultation and procedure in one of our 3 state-of-the-art facilities.
Daddy, how are babies made?
I can tell you how they're not made.
Advanced Urology Associates. Safe, simple, and effective.
Hecky, now we got plenty pride and passion. Yeah, we got many styles and fashions. Michigan to Austin, every part has events to offer, and the fireworks are off and spark. Yeah, best decision I ever made was coming here.
Standing on your big shoulders, riding you nothing but love for you, stay here forever.
If you missed any part of tonight's show, make sure you subscribe to the Sports Talk Live podcast at csnchicago.com/podcast. Don't miss a single episode. They're phenomenal. So who should host Cubs postseason live going forward? Is it me or Cap? That was our poll today. Look at this. See, there he is, Cap. He's been sitting home. He's got the iPhone watch. He's got the iPods. He's got the MacBook Pro out. He's got his iPad. He's got his iPad Mini out.
Can the guests on the panel vote? Because I feel like this has been very comfortable.
This has been comfortable.
Yeah.
Would it be voting Kaplan off the island?
Yeah, probably. It's like Survivor. He's been voted off. Hey, games 1 and 2, 7:08, which is 1908 military time.
Oh, no.
It's all lining up.
Oh, my goodness. Did you
Cap called you with that, didn't he?
I thought, see, now, with that stat, the voting should change. I should host now. That's a wrap for Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. The Cat Man will be back as you wish.
How's it going? Hi. Today we're going to be comparing the roll-formed high-strength steel bed of the Chevy Silverado to the aluminum bed of this competitor's truck.
Awesome. All right, let him drop.
Let's see how the aluminum bed of this truck held up.
Oh, that's a good size puncture.
That's all the way through for sure.
Full on crack here.
If you're aluminum now, you're gonna go, ooh.
Let's check out the Silverado steel bed.
Wow. Yeah, a couple dents.
I'd expect more dents.
Chevy clearly held up better than the Ford.
Here's some information. We have the right amount of beer taps. If we had any more, the kegs wouldn't stay fresh. Any fewer, and we might not have that beer you like on tap. The one you can't pronounce, so you just point. We've got all that and more, which makes us pretty confident. We've got that confident look in our eyes, the squinty one with the furrowed brow, because of the taps.
Choose excitement. Choose action. Choose Hollywood Casinos and you've already won. 2 Chicagoland locations with more of the games you want, more of the generous rewards you deserve, and celebrations that shine all night. That's the kind of star power that can take you places. Hollywood Casino, Aurora, and Joliet. There's no place like Hollywood.
I refuse to let myself be limited. I walk the walk of a man who isn't afraid to wear floral. I don't want to just look at the man in the mirror. I want to know who he is. It's me. I'm comfortable in my own skin, but a man can't walk in public in his skin alone. In the end, you can't waste any time thinking about the end. Wear what you want to wear. Just don't wear any doubts.
Get the Bob Roman Indy. Oh, now. To pay the rent. Get the Bob Roman Mr. Bill. Ooh. I scared him. How was that?
I like that. Bob Roman.
I'm Duncan Keith, and you're watching the home for the Chicago Blackhawks, CSN.
And the 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. Cubs win. The Cubs beat the Giants. Celebration time on the mound at AT&T Park. The Cubs have taken care of the San Francisco Giants in 4 games with a 4-run rally in the 9th inning. A great, great win for the Chicago Cubs.
Yes, the celebration continues. Good evening, everyone. Welcome into SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business. I'm Mark Shanowski. We will relive the excitement of last night's miraculous comeback in San Francisco, also the post-game celebration. We'll take you live to the United Center, where the Blackhawks are ready to drop the puck on a brand new NHL season. And Dwayne Wade talks about making a quick adjustment to his hometown Bulls. It's all straight ahead on SportsNet Central.
To SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business.
So the Giants are vanquished. Time to move on to the next phase in the hunt for October glory, presented by Lexus. And talk about dedication. It's my pleasure to welcome in, just back from the long flight from San Francisco, Cubs pre- and post-game radio host Mark Grody and Phil Rogers from MLB.com. Phil, we're going to start with you. Aside from Chris Bryant, the Cubs got very little production from their 1 through 6 hitters against the Giants, and they still win the series. Should that make the Cubs even more excited about their prospects in the NLCS, assuming those guys will start to produce?
Sure. I think it shows that, this is a team that largely won more with run prevention than run scoring. The pitching and defense, which we saw, the defense in particular, just spectacular. The Cubs are 20-1 when Rizzo and Bryant both drive in a run in the same game. If that happens a few times in the next couple of weeks, they're going to be close to unbeatable.
I think it is good that they've obviously been able to win without their heavies doing a whole lot, but I don't think they're going to continue to get away with it. That if they don't continue to sprout, if they don't take the cue from what they did in the 9th inning and carry that into the series against either the Dodgers or the Nationals, they're going to be into some trouble. I mean, they got away with some things. Obviously, if Javier Baez doesn't hit that home run in the early game against San Francisco, then you have a real problem right now. So those guys do need to continue. You just hope that it was a slump at the exact wrong time coming in, and that they broke out of it at the exact right time, and that it continues into the next series.
And also Javi Baez breaking out as an emerging star. Mark, we're going to stay with you. John Lester was lights out in Game 1 against the Giants. He'll pitch the opening game in the next round. But Kyle Hendricks got knocked out of Game 2, literally. And Jake Arrieta and John Lackey have been a bit up and down over the second half of the season. What's your confidence level in the state of the Cubs starting pitching right now?
Well, going through those guys, extremely confident, obviously, for obvious reasons with John Lester. Now, it's wait and see with Kyle Hendricks. I mean, we are talking about his arm, and I realize that it is, in essence, a bruise, but let's wait and see how he feels, how exactly healthy he is, and how he performs. We're still waiting to see him, Kyle Hendricks, how he's going to perform with the lights on. I realize that he pitched a couple times in the postseason last year, but this is a different animal. As great as Kyle Hendricks was during the regular season, he's got to be tested under these bright lights, which are even brighter than they were last year. I'm not worried about Jake Arrieta. I thought he looked really good in the Madison Bumgarner game on the mound, and obviously at the plate as well. John Lackey did not have a great start last night, but I think he's one of those guys that is battle-tested enough that he'll redeem himself and have a really good start, assuming he gets there.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in him. I mean, you look at the consistency across the board, it's really good. I was you know, a little concerned about Lackey last night. I mean, he obviously didn't miss as many bats as he would have liked to, but this is a guy that's tough, and I think a guy you can rely on. You know, John Lester against, especially if it's the Dodgers, he can line up against those guys. I think he's everything you want for a number one starter. I don't really see any reason to back off of, you know, this has been the best rotation in Major League Baseball all season, and I saw nothing in the playoffs. You know, the fact that the X-rays came back negative on Kyle Hendricks, which I think most people thought. He didn't seem to be in a great amount of pain after that ball caught him. He's had his regular side work. He should be fine. I don't have a real high level of concern. I think the Cubs should feel confident about him.
And Aroldis Chapman can get some rest after pitching in all 4 games in the divisional series. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your dedication for coming in after the long flight home from San Francisco. NLCS starts Saturday. We got the start times. Game 1 will be 7:08. Game 2, 7:08 as well at Wrigley Field. Well, trailing 5-2 entering the 9th inning last night, it certainly didn't look like a comeback was in the making. But then 4 runs later, with the tides turned at AT&T Ballpark, Mr. Chapman closed the door on the series and let the partying begin.
And the Chicago Cubs are moving on to the National League Championship Series.
The celebrations began quickly. On the field, in the locker room,
I need to know if this is better than beer money.
This definitely tops beer money.
Really?
For sure it does.
Guys, can you believe that?
and on social media, where fans from all walks of life shared their Cubs pride. Chicago champions like Scottie Pippen chimed in. Players' families shared their love and support. Hollywood's band of Cubs fans tweeted out their congratulations. And check out 87-year-old Bob Newhart flying the W.
That was a special night. You're not going to see that a whole lot.
Cubs Talk continues online as Joe Maddon's crew seeks the 8 more wins needed to claim the ultimate crown. From the social media to the beauty of the traditional newspaper, how about the Chicago Tribune clipping from 1907? It was on this day, 109 years ago, the Cubs claimed their first World Series championship. They beat the Tigers in Game 5. That came 1 year after losing to the White Sox in 6 games.
All comes down to this. So much drama in this series. Open net, Brower, and he hit the post, and he scored. And the Blues in front. Seabrook along when he both posts. The red light went on. That hit both posts. According to the referee, the call on the ice is no goal. The Blues finally able to break through. Now the defending Stanley Cup champions season has ended.
We had the toughest matchup you could face in the first round, and that's the draw, and we didn't get it done.
It was a great series, the Blackhawks playoff run ending in the opening round with a Game 7 defeat at the hands of the arch-rival Blues. So maybe it's only fitting the Hawks would draw St. Louis for the regular season opener. Let's go live to the United Center. Pat Boyle joins us with more on tonight's matchup. Pat, hard to believe hockey season is here again.
It is here, Mark. 4 games on the NHL opening night slate. All of them are rivalries, including this one between the Blackhawks and the Blues. You know, you look at the Central Division, once again, I think it's safe to say it is the toughest division in the National Hockey League. Hawks, first 3 games against some favorites to win the division. Tonight against St. Louis, and a home-and-home beginning Friday against Nashville. With Detroit, of course, in the Eastern Conference, it is safe to say right now that the Blues are the biggest rival for the Chicago Blackhawks. And considering what you just showed a few seconds ago, the way the season ended last year, a little extra motivation for Joel Quenneville's crew as they take on the team that took care of them in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's a good reminder for us to kind of not forget
what we went through and how we went down in Game 7. They'll be hungry too. Obviously, both teams want to prove themselves again. It's another year. Obviously, a long way to go before we get back to playoff hockey again. But you know, these games are nonetheless, they're always going to be important.
Kind of get that taste out of your mouth from last year in the playoffs, and you play that team right away. So, good way to start off. I think everyone gets excited when it's, you know, a new season. Everyone starts on the same level, zeros across the board, and you know, we want to make sure we get off to a good start, get ourselves ahead of the pack a little bit, you know, make sure we make the playoffs this year.
Well, it's been a training camp with a ton of jobs up for grabs. There'll be 6 rookies in the Hawks lineup tonight. Forwards Tyler Mott, Vinny Hinostroza, Ryan Hartman, and Nick Schmaltz, along with defensemen Michael Kempney and Gustav Forsling. Here's Joel on the infusion of youth into his lineup.
The young guys here, we only want to make sure that you're comfortable out there, play to your strengths, and the things we're trying to instill with them technically, and you know, we don't want to be thinking out there every single shift. So trust your instincts, and we'll reinforce doing the right things and the good habits as you go along here. But you know, be comfortable, be confident, and you know, get ready to play. But they all seemed fine today, and I'm sure you know, we got 6 rookies, not just, you know, 4, we'll say, new guys with us tonight.
And a reminder, Nick Hjalmarsson not in tonight's lineup. He is serving that suspension. Also, the 2010 Stanley Cup winner Brian Campbell makes his return to the Blackhawks blue line. Marian Hossa sitting on 499 career goals. Should be a good one tonight. Blues taking on the Blackhawks, top of the hour. That's over on NBCSN. We'll have post-game festivities back here on Comcast SportsNet when it's over. And of course, Mark, I know you'll be glued to the set at 6:30 on Comcast SportsNet. The red carpet show comes your way.
Umbrella's definitely mandatory for that show. Pat, thank you very much. We'll talk to you at 10 o'clock.
Take care.
And still ahead on SportsNet Central, the Division Series win. Well, that was all kinds of fun. But now the Cubs players have to refocus, rest up for a best-of-7 battle against either the Nationals or Dodgers in the League Championship Series. The regular season Bulls debut of Chicago and Dwayne Wade just over 2 weeks away. We'll hear from D. Wade on his adjustment to a new offense and a new set of teammates when SportsNet Central returns.
SportsNet Central brought to you by Comcast Business. Comcast Business, built for business.
Did you know your business doesn't have to suffer from slow internet? Comcast Business now offers blazing fast internet speeds up to 250 megabits per second, over 6 times faster than DSL. Get internet for as low as $59.95 a month. Call today. Comcast Business, built for business. Did you know sharing Wi-Fi with your customers could leave your business exposed? Only Comcast Business offers Wi-Fi Pro, 2 separate networks, one that's private for you and one that's public for your customers. Upgrade to Wi-Fi Pro for only $19.95 a month. Call today. Comcast Business, built for business.
My name is Jim Cornelison, and I am the national anthem singer for professional hockey in Chicago. I am in front of millions of people every time I get out on that ice. And the more I've been on camera in the last few years, I noticed, you know, the bald patch coming in. Ultimately, I had to face the truth. I just had less hair up there.
Get your own head of thick, full hair with Restore.
The procedure is quick, it's comfortable, it's pain-free. There's no cutting, there's no stitching, and there's no linear scar. It's my own hair. It's just moved from the back to the front. I was in the morning. I was out in the afternoon.
Comb it, cut it, style it. It's your hair. You're just one call away from looking and feeling more confident.
When I walk out on the ice and I know I'm going to be on that Jumbotron, I feel good about how I look.
Call Restore today for your free consultation and get a $500 gift card. It may be the first step that changes your life forever.
Call 1-800-873-7171 or visit restorehair.com.
Welcome back to SportsNet Central. This was the scene at Wrigley Field early this morning, about 6:44 a.m. to be exact. The buses carrying the Cubs traveling party arriving at the friendly confines following a celebratory red-eye flight back home from San Francisco. I'm guessing there was not a lot of sleep involved on that flight. Cubs now will wait to find out which team they'll be facing in the National League Championship Series starting on Saturday. Again, that's a 7:08 p.m. start time Saturday and for Game 2 on Sunday. Which takes us to tonight's Built for Business presented by Comcast Business. Dodgers and Nats will meet tomorrow night in Washington, D.C. for the right to play the Cubs. Former Cub lefty Rich Hill goes for the visitors. He's had a rebirth of sorts pitching for the Dodgers. The Nationals have their ace, Max Scherzer, ready to go. Scherzer, one of the favorites for the NL Cy Young Award. Comcast Business, built for business. And now to the Bulls. Players, coaches, and executives from around the league were absolutely shocked when Dwayne Wade ended his 13-year run in Miami by signing with his hometown Bulls as a free agent in July. It even took Wade some time to get comfortable with the idea while he spent a good part of his summer down in South Florida. But the former Richards High School star is now 100% invested in his Chicago homecoming and willing to do whatever it takes to make his new team successful.
From Chicago, 6'4", number 3, Dwayne Wade.
Even though Dwayne Wade has played almost all of his career at the shooting guard position, he's also thrived as a primary facilitator. And with Rajon Rondo sitting out Saturday's game against the Pacers, Fred Hoiberg put the ball in Wade's hands for long stretches as the de facto point guard. And the 12-time All-Star definitely delivered, scoring 22 points with 8 assists in just 27 minutes.
What I say, make sure they got to use you. So, I mean, obviously, Rondo is our point guard. And we have, a lot of point guards in here, but, I'm always there. Coach wants me to initiate the offense. I know the offense obviously very well, but, I know how to get guys shots and, I know how to see the floor. I've been doing it my whole life.
Even though Wade has already played 13 seasons in the NBA, everything is new at this particular training camp. What Wade brings on the court is pretty obvious, but his leadership and his willingness to mentor some of the Bulls' young players could turn out to be even more valuable in the long run.
Every day that we're able to come in here, every day we're able to play a game together, you do get more familiar. Like I said, guys, I play with so many different players. Right. I'll figure out a way. Some nights it's going to be great, some nights it's not, but I'll figure out my way. My job is to help others be comfortable with what we're doing.
Dwayne's brought a little bit of everything to this group. The leadership, obviously, what he's done as a leader over the course of his career speaks for itself. Not only that, but obviously what he's done on the floors. He's shot the three extremely well. He's put a lot of work into it, shooting before and after practice, just trying to add a new element to his game. And then, again, just getting him to get the ball in his hands and knowing that he's going to go out and make the right play.
But even with all the favorable reviews, Wade understands the situation he's in, joining a team that missed the playoffs with 10 players 26 or younger. So at this point, expectations have to be tempered.
When you're coming off a season where as an organization you don't make the playoffs, your goal can't be win a championship. Your goal has to be day to day in here, making steps to improve yourself, so you can get to the point where you're a playoff basketball team, and then you go from there. So it would be unrealistic to say, oh, we want to win a championship. Of course we do, but there's so many steps before you get to that.
Wade said he definitely won't be playing in all 3 of the Bulls' preseason games coming up over a 4-day stretch. But he will probably suit up for Friday's visit from LeBron James and the Cavs, even though he knows James will give him a hard time about how funny he looks wearing a Bulls jersey. Wade's coaches and teammates will tell you the fit couldn't look better. And still to come, we'll head back to the United Center to get a scouting report on Coach Q's new look team from our Blackhawks insider, Tracy Myers. Stay with us.
Esurance does auto insurance a smarter way, like their photo claims tool. It helps settle your claim quickly, which saves time, which saves money. And when they save, you save. That's auto and home insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call. Esurance does insurance a smarter way, which saves money, like bundling home and auto coverage, which reduces red tape, which saves money. And when they save, you save. That's home and auto insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call.
Go inside the lives of Chicago's biggest sports stars, only on Inside Look, presented by Cadillac. Your questions answered.
In this business, you want to compete for championships.
Idols Revisited.
They've supported this organization for so many years.
And the stories behind the headlines revealed.
It's a special journey and it's a great story.
Catch a new interview every month with Inside Look on Comcast SportsNet. Visit csnchicago.com for listings.
The men who built America shared a passion for the great sport of horse racing. Washington was considered the best horseman of his era. Jefferson never missed a day at the track, and Jackson once fought a duel over a wager. They believed that having a stake in the race is what this country and horse racing was built on. And so do we. We believe that horse racing is great for America and that America needs horse racing. So let's make America bet again. Sign up for an ExpressBet account today and we'll double your money.
Rising from the Midwestern Plains, south of Chicago, is the award-winning Riverside Healthcare. Compassionate hands, focused on healing, helping you along life's journey. Professionals who offer hope and innovation. Experts using the latest technology to solve problems and welcome new beginnings. Seeing things clearly is the first step. Seeing that you're well is what we hold dear. Riverside Healthcare, putting well within reach.
We're back with our Sports Business Insider presented by Elk Grove Village, Makers Wanted. Including tonight's contest against the St. Louis Blues on the NBC Sports Network, the Blackhawks will appear in the league maximum 11 nationally televised contests either on NBC or NBCSN. Let's take you back live to the United Center and welcome in Tracy Myers, our Blackhawks insider with CSNChicago.com, ready for a brand new season. Tracy, a number of young players in Coach Q's opening night lineup. How will the coaches try to get these guys some experience and confidence while still trying to win games in a very competitive Western Conference?
Well, you know, I mean, here's the thing is these guys knew coming into this season that this was going to be a big test, and you know, the spots were open, but they really were going to have to work just to get the opportunities. And hey, they're on the big time now, so it's going to be on a grand stage. And Coach Joe Quenneville, he's going to have some patience with these guys, obviously, because you've got so many new faces. But this is what the Blackhawks are dealing with in terms of they've lost some players. They need some new guys. Some of these guys have been very impressive out of camp, so we'll see what they do.
Some people might say the Hawks are a team in transition right now. With that in mind, is the championship window still open with the current roster?
You know, this is just me. I'm always the optimist. I'll see the glass half full until I see a reason to see it as less than that. But you know what? You still have the core of this team. I think that's what we have to remember is you still have guys who have done this before. 8, 9, 10 of them. Great goaltending. Your defense is probably as strong as it's been in the last couple of years. And yeah, you have some concerns on forwards, but you've got a core that is rested, that knows what it takes to get through this, and you've got a couple of young guys that, yeah, it's going to be a little daunting at first, but you know, some of these guys have played in high-pressure situations at different levels. Nick Schmaltz won an NCAA tournament title, so I think they'll be okay, but yeah, I'm leaving the door open for them to absolutely still have a chance to do something here.
Blackhawk fans are happy to hear that. Very interesting test on opening night. The Hawks facing the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last spring. What are you expecting to see from these longtime rivals in Game 1?
You know, we talk about the changes for the Blackhawks. The St. Louis Blues have gone through them, too. I was actually talking to Kevin Shattenkirk about that this morning. You look at the identity that the Blues have had the last couple of years, and they've lost some of those guys who were so ingrained, so much a part of that identity. No more David Backes, Troy Brouwer, who was there for a little bit. They lost their goaltender, Brian Elliott. So it's a little different looking at that team, and as Shattenkirk said, they've got a different style this year. They've got different leadership. So they're adapting, too, but you know, these two teams get together. It really has nothing to do with personnel. They just don't like each other.
Thank you, Tracy. It should be a fun game and a great season ahead. We'll be following your coverage on CSNChicago.com.
Thank you.
And next up here on SportsNet Central, we'll check in with the Bears at Hallis Hall, get the latest on Jay Cutler's thumb injury.
This may look like just a car driving down the road, but the Camry is so much more. It's the product of over $1 million an hour of research and development to enhance its cutting-edge features. We worry about every single detail, so by the time it gets to you, there's nothing left to worry about. tested, trusted Toyota. Right now, get 0% APR for 72 months, plus $500 bonus cash on a new 2017 Camry. Find yours at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Shabana Creek RV in Atkinson, Illinois. We are the largest motorhome dealer north of Atlanta, Georgia. Like this 2008 Bounder 35E, the #1 selling floor plan in North America, sold new for $130,000, priced now at $79,995. Or like this 2007 Georgie Boy Pursuit 34-foot 2 slide outs, sold new for almost $100,000, priced now at $49,995 and only $399 a month. Shabana Creek RV, Atkinson, Illinois.
Attention parents and grandparents of young children. Gerber Life is accepting applications for their affordable grow-up plan. The grow-up plan gives your child $10,000 in whole life insurance protection now, then doubles automatically to $20,000 later at no extra cost. Free information will be sent to parents and grandparents who call now. Help give your child a head start for just pennies a day. Don't wait. Call now for free information.
Call 1-800-425-3303 or go to growplan.com.
Hanging string lights can take hours and cost big bucks. Even untangling them is a chore. Not anymore. Now America's best-selling home laser lights have all new shooting star action. Introducing Star Shower Motion. Watch the stars dance right before your eyes or freeze them with just a click. It's your choice, still or moving. The secret is the weatherproof laser design that creates beautiful shimmering patterns of light. Now you can instantly have shooting stars from your landscaping all the way to the rooftop. Don't pay hundreds for ugly, spotty lighting. Get the vibrant green Star Shower Motion for just $49.99. But wait, we'll give you a free instant upgrade to the Deluxe Red-Green Dual Laser. But we're not done yet. Also get the Deluxe Indoor Base free. Now you can easily have stars indoors too. You'll get Star Shower Motion plus the free bonuses. So call now.
Call 1-800-403-2080 or go to starshowermotion.com. Order now.
Jay Cutler did some throwing on the side at Hallis Hall today, but did not practice. He is not expected to play on Sunday. Meanwhile, Brian Hoyer gaining some popularity, but the Cleveland native said he's looking forward to a Cubs-Indians World Series.
Still good with dual baseball allegiances? Hey, it's lining up. It's lining up. So Cleveland, obviously my AL team, the Cubs, what a great comeback last night. So I'm really pulling for that Chicago-Cleveland series. What do you do then? Well, I got to go with my hometown. I mean, you know, like I said, the Cubs have been my National League team the whole time, but I'll stay true to roots. Even with my allegiance to Jed Hoyer as the GM, you know, no relation, but there's not many Hoyers out there, so it'll be a tough decision. But like I said, I think either town really deserves it. So I would just be a pure baseball fan at that point.
Very diplomatically stated. Thanks for watching Sportsnet Central, presented by Comcast Business. Up next, we take you out to the United Center. Pat Boyle, Steve Conroy, and Jamal Mayers bring you complete coverage of the Blackhawks' red carpet arrivals on opening night. Remember the game at 7 o'clock on the NBC Sports Network. So long, everyone.